Well, Blessed Wednesday, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and we are in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10. And we're going to have a devotion today and on Friday. I apologize. It's been kind of a hectic week, but we are back into it. Wednesday and Friday, we'll have a devotion here. And then, of course, our Sunday morning worship for a blessed Thanksgiving. But 1 Peter 4, chapter 10 says, like good stewards of the manifold grace of God, serve one another with whatever gift you have received. Now, there's a lot of bigger words in here, and we should probably look at them closely. As good stewards, a steward is a person who doesn't own something, but is a person who is guarding it, is using some sort of object or gift. As good stewards of the manifold grace. Manifold is just a very big way of saying many, that this grace is so big that there are many aspects to it. So God has given us to be stewards of this multifaceted or multi useful grace thing, and it's from God to serve one another. Now, those are all big things. This multitude grace thing to serve one another with whatever gift each of you has received. Now, that's where it comes down to earth. All of us have been created uniquely. I always like to highlight that with my kids when we bless them, both Emily and I. We always are very blessed to have 5 children, and we like to call all of them our unique gifts from above because they're all so different from one another. Probably the most common thing they share is the last name, and that's about it. They are in totally different camps on almost everything in their interests and in the things that they do. But yet they come together with a common bond. And one thing we've been blessed with is that they are so unique and different because they can complement each and every one of us. That's one of the things, of course, Paul talks about in 1 Corinthians 13 when he speaks about the church. The church as if it's like the body of Christ, not just the ear of Christ, not just the eyes of Christ, not just the hair or the head or specific parts, but the full body, where we are so different, we complement one another. Now, when Peter talks about the manifold grace, he's talking about a grace that both empowers and also blesses each and every one of our unique gifts, and that our world would be less without the unique grace that each and every one of us is blessed with, so that we can be a blessing of others. And that's where we come to be stewards of it. We might call it our gift. Of course, we might joke, especially of a parent maybe that has a child going through adolescence, or some of us haven't even grown up yet, where we are asked, "Why, you're a unique person. What kind of gift are you to me? Maybe you don't seem like a gift to me. Maybe you seem more like a thorn in the flesh to me, or you may seem like you're a difficulty to me." And that is part of the rub of life. Some people find their niche and just run with it. Some of us take a little bit longer, and I'll say some of us because in some ways I always felt like the odd one out until I got the, how should I say, inspiration or grace specific to me of maybe thinking about being a pastor or something. But then when I got into that line of work, I realized that there can be multiple gifts as pastors. You just cannot fulfill all of them In fact, one bishop came up with 48 different characteristics of a pastor, and he said no one person can fulfill all these aspects of what you expect. So expect them to fulfill maybe 5 to 10, and then have other people who are blessed in the body of Christ complement those other needs. And that was a bishop talking about the church, but we can imagine that in our family. Maybe we can imagine that in our jobs. Maybe we can imagine that in our community. How each person has been gifted by the manifold grace of God. This is a perfect one to lead into what our nation will be doing tomorrow, giving thanks. Giving thanks for the good that God has given us. Giving thanks for the gifts that God has uniquely blessed each and every one of us. Whether we use the word manifold gifts or whether we use the simple thing, they're unique person, and they're important not only to the world, not only to the church, not only to the family, but they're important to God. Keep them unique. Keep them contributing the grace that they are a steward of. God bless you today. We trust that these continue to be words of encouragement. Tonight we will have a Thanksgiving Eve worship at East Freeborn. We'd love to have you join us so that you can celebrate and give thanks for what God has given us. Take care. God bless. We'll see you next time.